As I was walking home one night, I saw a stranger by a light. His arms were long, his head was small. I've never seen a man so tall. His arms reached out and grabbed me tight. I went along without a fight. I looked and saw he had no face, and then my heart began to race. He spoke to me without a sound and picked me up right off the ground. The Slender Man took me away to never see new light of day. Hello.
Welcome. This is Counting Cryptids.
Yes, it is. Episode number 21.
This is the podcast where we count cryptids, if you hadn't guessed.
I guess this is like the second sort of Halloween-esque episode.
Yeah, Halloween-esque. This is very creepy, especially if you
This
believe...
is probably like the creepiest one we've done.
It's pretty dark.
I mean, maybe
dark.
if we had like done a better episode on shadow people, it would have been creepier, but...
Yeah, if we would have taken that one a little bit more serious, but that's not really how we do. So we'll see how this one turns out. Less drinking this time, more creeping.
We have a bunch of reviews to do this week as well, but let's do that at the end of the episode because we have so many to do.
We have a lot. At 5 at least.
I think we have 5 we have to read today, so we're going to do it at the end of the episode because otherwise there's going to be like 45 minutes of us reading reviews before we talk about the episode.
Yeah. It'll be long.
So that's
But if you haven't left a review, go ahead, head over to iTunes, Facebook, wherever you would like to leave a review, and leave a review, at least, bare minimum, a rating. I think we have 13 ratings, and we're just under 5 stars because somebody wanted to put a 1-star review.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. This show is
You're
definitely
entitled to your opinion.
Not for everyone.
That is, we should probably put that like in the description of every episode, just in parentheses. Yeah. This show is not for everyone.
Beware, extreme cursing, heavily explicit. I
want to label it as excessively explicit, but I don't know how to do that. So I'm working on like a branding campaign, just like for that to be our thing is just excessively explicit.
Counting Cryptids. Excessively. Oh,
man,
like
if I could, you know how there's like the explicit marker by iTunes things? Like if I could somehow talk to them just to get it to say
2 levels above explicit.
Excessively explicit is all I would like to say. If somebody out there happens to be a programmer for Apple, I'm sure you're not listening to this podcast.
We should get some stickers made that say, "Hi, my name is excessively explicit," and then underneath it says Counting Cryptids.
I was just thinking the parental advisory.
Ooh, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Anyway, the Slender Man.
The Slender Man.
So if this was somebody's first, they never heard of the Slender Man before. What is the Slender Man? What's he look like?
He is a very creepy individual. A tall, slender man.
Oh, yep. Creepy.
Faceless.
Creepier.
In most cases. I mean, generically faceless. Let's put it that way.
Immortalized as being faceless.
Absolutely. He's wearing a suit, a dark black suit.
Red tie.
White. Everything else. He's very tall.
Approximately 7 to 8 feet tall.
Yeah, his shoe size is about a 17 or possibly up to a 20.
Do you have this information actually,
I have
or are you just
measured
like
his feet personally?
Have you seen the Slender Man?
He has very manicured toes, nails.
I did not find that information.
Well, you're looking in the wrong places. I looked on
Evidently.
Cosmopolitan, so
Cosmopolitan. I saw that sometimes he has tentacles.
Yes.
Or his arms are just described as being tentacle-like.
Yeah. Or, I mean, I've also seen depictions of his, like, fingers kind of extending into
Being
tentacle,
tentacle-esque.
like, yeah.
His arms are always described as being long, whether or not always as tentacles, but they are always described as being long. I put always looking fresh to death in a suit because the suit's always looking good, though, dude. Like, it's clean.
If he wasn't creepily in the background of people's pictures, he might be at the forefront, like,
He'd fucking
leading that bitch.
adjusting his tie.
I'm here for an interview.
Checking out his watch, you know what I mean? Like, he'd be there, like, doing some
Time
stock
for some
photography
creeping.
shit.
Yeah, 100%.
So we talked about him being faceless a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you want to kind of get into that a little bit right now while we're on the topic?
So the original story, which we will elaborate on later, very shortly, depicts him as faceless. But some of renditions of stories of different people took them into the story of Slender Man into their own hands and added things like his face changes to whatever like the person perceives it as.
Okay.
I only saw that in a couple of instances, but
well, then also you had said that it like had a face.
It's almost like he has a face, but he's without features. If that makes sense?
What you had just said before we started recording was
What'd I say?
that he has a face, but it just can't be captured. So like the photos whatever was just
a lot of things about Slender Man like said that it was like these things were seen by the person, but once captured on photograph, he was faceless or other things like that.
Okay.
I also saw that he could shapeshift into whatever the victim's fears might be.
Okay, so we're kind of almost getting into like Topa-esque territory at this point. So why don't we go into the origins of Slenderman, of Slenderman before we go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. That's a deep hole. So in 2009 on June 10th, a Photoshop contest was held by the Something Awful Internet Forum, where it challenged users to create paranormal images. Quotes.
Real quick, I need to like, if that's still in existence.
Something Awful? Or
Yes.
the challenge?
Well, the challenge. I'm sure there's challenges regularly if it was that successful.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's still going, but like, I need to get over there and start doing some of that shit. I'm super into Photoshop battles. I tried to do a couple of them, but like some of them I like lost the work before I uploaded it, and other ones just like never finished it.
Yeah. Can you edit me into this picture with this hot babe? You know those people asking for like requests.
Oh, and they do the ridiculous ones. I've always wanted to do that, but I'm not funny enough to come up with like the funny ideas.
So funny.
Like, can you make it look like I'm holding the mountain, and they just like cut the whole arm off and like drop it, like so they have an arm coming out of their hip. Yeah, I want to do that, but I'm not clever enough to be like, this is what you do here. Okay. Anyway,
a lot of the times on those
2009.
Okay. Poster Victor Serge, who in real life is Eric Knudsen, Knudsen, also known as Lieutenant Serge, which I'm sure we will address him as multiple times.
Unintentionally.
Yeah. He put forth a black and white image with this Slender Man for this competition. And unlike other people's submissions, he like added texts and like a kind of like a background to his pictures. I think he posted 2 on that original contest. So underneath one of the photos it said, we didn't want to go, we didn't want to kill them, but its persistent silence and outstretched arms horrified and comfort us at the same time. 1983, photographer unknown, presumed dead.
Blah. I will have links to a lot of photos on this one. So.
There's quite a few good creepy photos.
Check
of
it
the
out.
Alleged Slender Man. So underneath another one, and the 2 pictures that I saw were his originals. I don't know how they corresponded with these quotes, but this is what the internet said. So the other one said, one of 2 recovered photographs from the Sterling City's library blaze, notable for being taken the day which 14 children vanished and for what is referred to as the Slender Man. Deformities cited as film detects by officials. Fire at library occurred 1 week later. Actual photograph confiscated as evidence. 1986. Photographer Mary Thomas, missing since June 13th, 1986. Give some creepy background on those photos.
Definitely.
And we should add here that usually the Slender Man like preys on young adults and children.
Yeah.
Often like depicted in like scenes with children on playgrounds in the woods.
Yeah, just generally being creepy.
Yeah. And faceless. Victor Serge was inspired by many famous horror figures such as Shadow People, which we talked about last episode, and on another previous episode we talked about the Mothman, which he was also inspired by.
Nice.
His intentions were to, quote, formulate something whose motivations can barely be comprehended and which caused unease and terror in a general population. So just looking for all around fucking scary.
I mean, he hit it.
Yeah.
Like, really, though.
Honestly, the man in a black, like, sport coat, like, suit, like,
a man in a tuxedo, in the woods is creepy as fuck.
I would agree. But also, it's, like, not creepy at the same time,
He has no face. He's 8 feet tall. His arms are 6 feet long.
Boom.
There's tentacles coming out of his back.
Where it gets creepy. And the fact that he just hangs around children.
Yeah, I mean, definitely also creepy. I'm going to be doing a lot of drinking this episode.
Could be doing a lot of dog barking editing.
Good luck, Connor.
Along with the original Slenderman story, like I said, a lot of people took them and made their own renditions of Slender Man. Things he did. Freak people out. People that claim to have been around Slender Man, like, report, like, feeling ill, like...
Slender Sickness.
Slender Sickness, yes, exactly. Like, high anxiety, stress, vomiting,
paranoia,
bloody noses, fevers, coughing, like, literally anything you might feel, you feel because of Slender Man.
You got the Slender Sickness, baby.
Yeah, I don't know. This is weird.
So, unlike all of the other ones we have done, this one has like a literal start date.
Yeah,
and it is like
I did see some things that said it, like, people tried to tie it back to like even Egyptian like hieroglyphs and stuff, and like different cave paintings and other shit like that. I didn't see anything that...
So I guess what I also want to say is there was a couple of like Native American folklore beings in folklore that were similar to this. Something called the Tall Man Spirit or the Suicide Spirit, or then something else called Walking Sam.
Walking Sam.
Yeah, I saw one suggestion that specifically said that, like, suggested that Walking Sam was a, quote, physical manifestation of depression.
Okay, I could see that.
But it's kind of the same. They resemble the Slender Man, and they're always just the gist of it is it just telling these young people that they're worthless, sort of thing, and just like tearing them down. And then there's this where is it, the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. There was 103 suicide attempts in less than a year in 2015.
So we're going there?
No. Well, there's, I guess the suicide rate is like highest in the Native American community.
I can see that, though.
Among minorities.
The Americans really fucked those Native Americans.
Oh, yeah, I guess there's, I don't know, from what I had read, this specific area, there's a lot of like alcoholism and drug abuse and just abuse in general and things of that nature too. So I guess that would add to it. But I mean, either way, like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
It's sad. It sucks.
Definitely. But those were a lot of things are talking about those spirits in relation to that.
Real quick, I think it's Suicide Prevention Month.
Oh, really?
I think October is Suicide Prevention Month.
Okay,
or
we'll
like
post
something like that.
Stuff about that in the description as well.
Yeah, if you want to reach out just to talk, you just need somebody to talk to. I literally talk to people on the internet daily. I am free to talk to you on the internet, as I am doing now, but in text form.
It's awfully nice of you, Connor.
No problem. I like to talk to the listeners.
I'm going to create a fake email and write in so you have somebody to talk to. I'll be your pen pal.
Thank you. Nobody talks to me. I just wanted to put feelers out. If anybody wants to talk to me, I'm available.
Do you need someone to talk to, Connor?
Yeah. This is my plea for help. This is the widest audience that I can talk to. I don't get any response other than from Jacob.
Where are we at?
I want to bring up some proxies.
Okay.
So people that are, I want to say, infected by the Slender Man.
Okay.
People that, like, some people, like, seek out to be a proxy. Like, they want to be...
Okay. Yep.
Part of the Slender Man.
Okay, so are we going to Waukesha? Or not yet?
I'll get there.
Okay.
There is places on the internet where you can find steps to become a proxy.
Okay.
I'm not even going to read what you should do.
Link in the description.
Link in the description. I will not be linking.
Maybe link to it in the description.
I didn't
we'll see
give
how I
Jacob
feel.
a link. If he can find it, then maybe he'll link it.
Depends on how shitty of a person I'm feeling like.
I honestly didn't even read through them very well. I just skimmed them. I'm like, yep, that's good enough. I'm just not going to include that in the podcast. I just wanted to let you know I don't condone such activities.
Yeah, I saw something where they were like, someone was arrested or whatever the deal was, and they'd like, yeah, we had seen that, like, it was like noted that the cops like had seen like they like, I don't know if they like went through her computer or what the deal was after, and then it was just like, oh yeah, she was looking at a bunch of Slender Man things and watching a bunch of anime. That's why she did this, or whatever the fuck it was. You know what I mean? I'm just like, wait.
A lot of people
do you just like yeah, that's the thing. It's just like, I have a really weird search history.
Please. If I kill someone, my search history has nothing to do with it.
It's just for this podcast, we talk about a lot of weird things, and like we have to go around. Like I have a whole fucking bunch of stuff I have to talk about tulpas in this episode too. So it's like I had to go like a little bit down that rabbit hole, but I was like, I'm not going this is my work computer.
Yeah,
I'm not going very far down that one. Like,
for sure.
Yeah. We're trying to stay on topic, and that's on topic, but we can't get too far off. So anyway.
I will say that some of the proxies have scars so that the Slender Man can identify who his proxies are. And there is like a series of tests so that Slender Man can figure out if you're going to be a good proxy. And he also like asks you to be a proxy for him. And if you say no, he'll kill you. I don't know of any reports that are just like, the Slender Man killed somebody. But, I mean, there's a lot of mysterious deaths out there.
The Slender Man got him.
Death. Slender Man.
Slender Man attack.
Said no to Slender Man. Dead.
What happened to James? He told the Slender Man no, dude. No, not James.
James.
I'm sorry, James.
How to become/encounter?
Become.
Okay, no. Encounter.
Oh, you said become/encounter.
That's what I have in my notes.
You can. I do as well, but I thought you like found a way to become the Slender Man, and I was like, what? It's like, I mean, get a mask and a suit because I'm pretty tall. Lose a little bit of weight, maybe, but
this might. I'm reading through these 4 stages from one Redditor known as Riot Scale.
Okay.
These might tie into the Tulpa talk later, but I'm going to throw them out there now. Okay, so he's got 4 things that you might do to, what the stages of to becoming a believer and
becoming a proxy. Is that what it is? Like the stages of like encountering the Slender Man.
Yeah, this is almost like stages to becoming someone who seeks out to be a proxy.
Oh,
like this is like
okay.
At the end of this, you might decide to be a...
Maybe you should just read it and maybe it'll make more sense then.
Okay. So number 1, they become interested in the topic of Slender Man. Check.
Oh no, step 1 has been completed.
2, they become obsessed with the Slender Man, which I don't think I'm there yet.
I'm not quite there.
I'm interested, but
I think it had me like when I first heard of it.
When I'm done doing this podcast, I'm probably not just gonna like keep Googling
stay up all night and be like, no, I got a tournament to play in tomorrow, boy. I gotta get my sleep.
I really should be practicing instead of podcasting.
I've played in 2 days.
Wow, you're gonna be fresh.
Honestly, sometimes you take a day off and you be fucking fire. So we'll see.
I've won 2 matches of solos in 2 days.
I have no solo wins this season.
I have 6.
Hell yeah, get it.
Okay, so number 3, they become paranoid and begin to seek him out. So this is where you kind of become a proxy. Wanting to become a proxy.
Honestly, at that point though, like I feel like that is the same as 2.
Yeah.
Obsession and like begin to seek it out are kind of like, I'm obsessed with it. I'm going out of my way to look for these things, and those are kind of the same thing to me.
I think, okay, so number 1, you're just like, you stumble across it or you hear about it from somebody, you look it up and you're like, oh, okay, this is interesting.
Well, what's this Slenderman thing I've heard all about?
Yes, and then 2, you start researching it a bit more and you just like really want to get into what the Slender Man is all about. And then 3, you're like, fuck, the Slender Man is real.
Oh, okay.
And for some reason, I want to seek him out. I don't know why you
and
would.
There's like a calling almost associated with it, where it just becomes like I can't ignore it.
Yeah, and then at that point, you're kind of like a proxy.
At that point, you can't stop.
Yeah, and then 4, Slenderman finally appears to them and begins stalking them. 5, you kill somebody.
I thought you said there was 4 stages. Did you just make up the 5th?
I just said 4, and then I said the 5 is where you kill somebody. Yeah, I made the 5th step up. I added a 5th step to Riot Scale's scale.
Okay, so on the note of killing somebody, should we just head over to Waukesha real quick?
I almost feel uncomfortable talking about this because it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Like there is a lot of background about these 3 girls that we're going to get into. There's sentencing and all this stuff.
There's been some recent stuff with it too.
Yeah, we could really get into. Like, I've got a lot here, but it's literally just the tip of the iceberg on this story.
Yes.
Okay. This is like one of the most insane real-life events that stems from Slender Man and Slender Man lore.
If you know anything about Slender Man, like you've definitely
come across
heard the story. And
least.
even if you don't remember the name Slender Man for whatever reason, and you're listening to this podcast, like you've heard this story. I'm almost certain. If
you were alive in 2014,
I hope nobody that's 4 listens to this.
So, Waukesha, Wisconsin. The story begins as 3 12-year-old girls, Anissa Wire, Morgan Geyser, and Peyton Bella Leutner. I'm not sure where Bella comes from here, but she's been known as Bella for pretty much her whole life. So, there's some events that lead up to this, but we're going to start the night before the big event.
Okay.
So the 3 girls are hanging out, planning a slumber party, hanging out. They this is weird. They go to the skating rink with Morgan's father, they're staying at Morgan's house overnight.
Okay.
And this is May 30th, and so 31st is when the event takes place. And I'm trying to be very vague because I just want to just throw it out there. The event is what is happening. So they go to this skating rink where they just hang out till about 9:30, and then they go home to Morgan's house, all 3 of them, and they're just fucking around on their laptops. And then they share a bed together, the 3 girls, which they're 12, whatever. But at one point, one of the girls, so the 2 of the girls are laying side by side, and the other one's laying like at the foot of the bed. One of the girls kicks the girl at the foot of the bed, presumably Bella. So there's that. Maybe a little tension. Maybe there's a little something there, you know?
Okay.
Foreshadowing. So they wake up in the morning, and I'm going to input this because I talked to you about this beforehand. They crumbled up granola bars, put them in the silly putty, threw them at the ceiling.
That was how they passed the time the next morning?
That's till breakfast. They go eat breakfast. I think there's strawberries and donuts.
You just eat the granola bars for breakfast?
I don't know why you would throw granola silly putty at the ceiling. Ever. Why would that even cross your mind? I've got this granola here. You want to?
Wouldn't you have to be like 5 or 6 to like? In my mind, like at 12, I'm gonna throw shit at the ceiling.
This'll be fun. You guys want to throw shit
I
at
don't
the
know.
ceiling with me?
Whatever. Maybe
it's a different time.
I wasn't rebellious enough as a preteen, I guess.
Boy, you got a long ways to go, Jacob.
I had it took a pretty sharp turn around 16.
You were late.
I was a late bloomer, but man, I came out kicking.
So the 3 girls had their breakfast and decided they're going to go to the park. Specifically David's Park, which was like
a park.
It's still in town. Like,
yeah,
I think the parks are like a mile away from like a Walmart and other shit. Like,
oh, you mean it's not like outside of town?
Yeah,
okay.
It's just like I don't know anything about Waukesha, Wisconsin, but it's a town. Like, things nearby. Don't go killing people. There's things nearby.
I mean, or at all. Like, don't do that.
That generally don't kill anybody anywhere. But if you're gonna kill somebody, do it away from people.
Probably do it where people won't see.
Counting Cryptids in no way endorses the torture, harm, or murder of children. Any reference to these acts are simply a poor attempt at a comedic reference. Counting Cryptids is not responsible should any symptoms of Slender Sickness occur. Side effects of listening to Counting Cryptids includes, but are not limited to, uncontrollable laughter, uncontrollable rage, explosive diarrhea, implosive diarrhea, and auditory hallucinations such as dogs barking. If you experience an erection lasting more than 4 hours after listening to Counting Cryptids, immediately contact us via social media for a shout-out. Then maybe call a physician. Alright, so on the way to the park, Morgan shows Anissa a knife she has stolen from the kitchen.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
Anissa did not pull out a knife and say that. I'm sorry.
Oh, damn. Oh, shit. Oh. Damn it. This is like something that I shouldn't be making too many jokes about, too.
I know. This is so not on track with what our podcast is usually about.
She lived.
She did live. Let's preface this story a little bit with she did not die. No deaths of children were involved in creating this story.
I think normally it's like no children were harmed in the making of this story, but that's also not, that one's not true.
Yeah.
So,
there was some harm.
Anyway.
Quite a bit. Apparently Anissa and Morgan had planned to kill their best friend, Bella.
Conspired, yes.
In an attempt to appease the Slender Man.
Rude.
Yes. So their original plan, which at some point during the night, apparently they had planned to, they planned this out. They're going to tape her mouth shut and then stab her in the neck before running away. Didn't go as planned. Morgan decided that she was going to give Bella another day to live. How nice of her.
She can get a good night rest. I'll do it in the morning when she's awake.
She's fine for another 13 hours. Anywho, so after Morgan decided that she was going to give her another day to live, they came up with another plan where they were going to attack her at the local park in a bathroom, like an outhouse. So on the way to the park, they approached said bathroom. They tried to tackle Bella and ended up hitting her head on the concrete wall. For some reason they couldn't hold her down, and then Bella was cool with it. They settled down and they're like, oh yeah, okay. Somehow in her mind, in her 12-year-old mind, she thought her friends were just fucking around. Maybe they had done something similar in the past,
or they didn't
intentionally mean to.
I didn't mean to hit your head on the concrete. I was just kind of fucking around.
Yeah, I just wrestling with you.
Roughhousing a little bit.
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't know girls in 12 years did that, but
okay.
I definitely threw my brother against
different groups of friends. You know what I mean? I don't know. People behave differently. I don't know.
Their own?
I guess maybe I don't know their relationship. I don't know what they did.
You do know what they did.
Well, I know what's coming.
I've never had any friends like this, Jacob. Nor do I want any friends like this.
Connor.
If you wanted to kill me, you'd have done it already. So after their tussle, they settled down and continued to play. Anissa decided or suggested that they play hide and seek in the woods that surrounded the park, which was not woods. It was probably like a strip of woods, like
it was just some trees. It's not woods.
Yeah, there's 6 trees over here.
There's a small patch of trees.
You want to hide over
bushes.
here?
Let's go, guys.
Okay, so they decide they're gonna play hide and go seek after they just smashed their friend's head against the cement wall. So the two girls, Anissa and Bella, go hide while Morgan counts. On their way to hide, or like in the process of hiding, Anissa tried to tackle Bella, but again couldn't hold her down. I don't know what kind of hide and seek they're playing, but at this point, Morgan tries to give Anissa the knife, but Anissa's like, "No, I am way too squeamish to stab my friend repeatedly."
I can't even tackle her, let alone stab her.
I just imagine like a 12-year-old girl trying to tackle her friend, just like throwing her body at her, just like,
At 12, man, like, in football, nobody knew how to tackle.
Yeah,
Everybody that was just like all they spent time on was just
fights.
Like, just you stay low. You stay low. That
just
was
take
all
out their
they tell you,
legs,
dude.
because I mean,
that's the thing. You have if you're lower than the other person, then you have like that up.
Can
like,
heap
yeah,
them.
It's easier to. That's what you.
I never played football because I am 5'8", 114 pounds. I just had my biometric screening done. I am fit. Ladies.
Connor's definitely married. There's the insert second disclaimer since I've been here. Renewing your vows now.
I'll have to write those myself, unless you want to help me out.
It's cool. I'll help you out in post.
So okay. So back to our story here. Go and drink real quick though. So Anissa said she wasn't gonna do it. Morgan's got the knife, and
she yells YOLO.
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Morgan's like, "Yo, Anissa, like, I'm not gonna do anything until you give me the go ahead. Like, waiting for your signal. Like, thank you." And it's not very long after. They take like 5 steps. So like they're 5 feet ahead of where they were discussing this. I don't know where Bella is this entire time. Like, this is
so they're playing hide and go seek. Bella goes off hiding. So does Anissa. Morgan's waiting to look. Anissa waits back, meets up with Morgan.
But Anissa tries to tackle Bella at some point during the hiding phase.
Okay, maybe she
and then
doubles back after
back.
that fails, and then they
Let's
meet
try
up kind of thing. And
rationalize
Bella
this.
keeps hiding.
Like, yeah, that's a good hiding spot there, Bella. You just go ahead and hide there. I'm gonna go find another spot over here in this tree.
Okay,
away from you. Meet back up. Try and trade the knife. No go. Nissa's a pussy. But has no problem being like, yo, just do it. So Anissa says, and quote, "Kitty now, go ballistic, go crazy."
Kitty?
This is what she said, Kitty. Apparently the girls were like obsessed with cats. This is a backstory that I didn't include. Called her Kitty.
Okay.
Go ballistic, go crazy, get fucking wild.
Did she say get fucking wild?
No, I added that in there.
You're confusing me when you do this.
I know, I do this a lot.
I know.
I like to add to the story. I get a little carried away.
It's fine.
Okay, so then Morgan, here's the fucking go ahead, and she goes up to Bella and says, "Don't be afraid, I'm only a little kitty cat," and pushes Bella to the ground, stabs her 19 times in the arms, legs, and stomach, puncturing organs, almost severing an artery near her heart. Apparently Bella screams back in despair, according to the girls. This is Anissa and Morgan retelling it.
The testimony.
Yes. Screamed. The girls disappeared in the woods, leaving their friend, quote unquote friend, to die. They wander around town for like a few hours before being picked up by the cops, probably just for being two 12-year-old girls wandering around town. I don't think they had found their body, or maybe the parents were like, "Hey, girls haven't returned home, haven't seen them." It might be a smaller town where it's more of a relaxed, like, calling the cops frantically, like, "My girls have gone missing," to more like, "Hey, you're out there, can you keep an eye out for my girls? Like, They went to the park after breakfast. Anyway, cops pick him up and ask where Bella's body is. And she is...
How do the cops know she's dead?
So maybe they... I don't know. Maybe they were expecting the girls to be all together. They didn't have
I feel
Bella.
like I had seen that like a runner saw...
Oh,
like
a
she,
bicyclist.
Like, yeah.
A bicycle... so, okay. So Bella crawls...
Yes. Because she is a hard ass and gets stabbed 19 times.
She
and
said,
she's like, no, motherfucker.
this.
Like, I'm going to crawl.
You guys are
and not
bitches,
die.
man. I'm out of here. Just crawls to a...
They bailed. So
Yeah.
she's like,
she
okay,
bails.
cool. Like, I'm going
I
to
gotta
go the
find
other
somebody.
direction and get help because that's what you do when you've been stabbed 20 times.
repeatedly, and you're bleeding out, and you're almost unconscious.
So she runs into a biker.
The biker stops, helps her get to the hospital where she is like obviously hospitalized and taken care of. She makes a full recovery. The other two girls, on the other hand, one of them spends 3 years in jail, and then the other one, I think Anissa, kind of ratted out the other girl, Morgan. And
Because Morgan was the one who stabbed her.
Yes, and so Anissa was like
She's an accessory to
there
attempted
you
murder.
Go. Thank you. So she kind of gets off the hook, but she still has to spend like 25 to 40 years in a mental hospital, mental institution. I don't know what happened to Morgan, but it's probably worse. Anissa spent 3.5 years in prison, in jail, prior to while the hearing was going on, while the case was being worked on. I would assume Morgan faced a similar, if not worse, fate. Anissa at least has the possibility to like get out and live a somewhat normal life, but you're 12, add 40 years of that, you're 52.
Morgan was sentenced to 40 years in the mental institution.
Morgan was.
Yes.
Not Anissa.
Not Anissa.
Did Morgan confess to trying to murder her friend?
Morgan Geyer, 15, pleaded guilty on October to charges of attempted first-degree murder in a deal with the prosecutor to avoid jail time.
Last year, October, to attempted second-degree homicide. The jury found her not guilty by mental disease or defect. Anissa Geyser accepted a plea offer which she would not go to trial, but she would be evaluated by psychiatrists to determine how long she would be placed in a mental hospital. She later pleaded guilty and was found not guilty by reason of mental disease, similar to Morgan. Morgan was sentenced to 25 years in life. An indeterminate sentencing involving at least 3 years locked confinement and involuntary treatment in a state psychiatric institute, followed by communal supervision until the age of 40. Morgan was sentenced to the maximum 40 years to life in an indeterminate sentencing involving at least 3 years locked confinement in addition to involuntary treatment at a state psychiatric institute until complete resolution of symptoms or until age 53, whichever happened first. And then again, the communal supervision and periodic reevaluations.
That happened in 2012?
Happened in 2012, yes. And this was in 2017.
So they're like 18 now and still, oh man. They're actually finally adults at this point. But
now they can be truly...
Fuck, dude.
It sounds like they got let off easily.
I mean, they're kids and like
they
it's
are
dumb
kids.
And she didn't die and it's attempted murder, but it's stupid. But at the same time, it's like, dude.
You tried to stab your friend.
No, yeah. I mean, I was just, it's... Ugh.
What is going through these 12-year-olds' minds? Like, say you believe in Slender Man. You believe he is stalking you. The only way to appease Slender Man, get him off your ass, is to kill somebody. And you have this friend here that
I think
is an easy target.
Part of it is just like maybe the fact that there's two of them. So it's like if you're into it and they're into it and you're both feeding into each other's...
What is this called?
Stuff?
People like crazy.
Peer pressure?
Peer pressure, but like manic. Like there's a group of people like doing something that has no explanation. Like there's those people that like the whole town that danced. I'm gonna cut this out. Fucking.
You're talking about mass hysteria?
Mass hysteria. Could it be like a
hysteria sort of thing?
event?
I mean, I suppose that's kind of always.
The girls are feeding off each other, like
that's a smaller scale, I think, than is
less
typically
mass
associated
hysteria.
with. Yeah, that wouldn't really be mass hysteria. That'd just be like a localized hysteria,
but
individualized hysteria,
duo hysteria, maybe squads, squad hysteria.
Should we do
It's
other stories real quick,
If you've
or
got
should we
some
talk
other
about tulpas?
Let's talk about other stories. We can get back to tulpas that
right,
might
I've got
tie into this
Two
story
stories
as well.
that are a little bit longer.
Okay, good, because I spent a lot of time researching Slender Man, and as far as
I saw that
real life events of people being affected, like in a physical way by Slender Man, was this story. Like,
yeah, that's the
story.
big one. Like, we can't not talk about that one. I know. I'm sure you've heard it, listener.
Yeah, this is
like,
most
that's the one that's
publicized
like,
one.
if we did an episode and didn't mention that, like, everybody would be like, why the fuck didn't you talk about this one? So we talked about that one.
They make us into a meme.
So I saw this one posted on Backpackverse. It was credited as having been written by Xavier G.
Ooh, Xavier G.
So, quote, I believe we are all born with an inherent sense of good and evil. What drives us to go in either direction is the influence of outside forces, some more powerful than others. A couple of years ago, while I was living in California, I dropped off my younger sister at karate practice. It was later in the evening, the moment where the sun just starts to set and the sky ignites in purple and golden colors. It seemed like a nice night for us, so I decided to go for a short drive while my sister finished her class. I knew the county very well, but decided to drive down some back roads I didn't recognize. I figured, why not, right? Yeah, gravel travels for sure. After a while, on this one particular road, I started to notice that I could no longer spot any houses or other cars. It seemed that the road was getting thinner and thinner as I rolled along. I decided to turn around, and as I came to a slow, my radio suddenly cut out. Strange, that never happened before. I started fiddling with the dial, but all I could get out of it was silence.
Eerie.
This is when I started to feel creeped out and decided to make a U-turn. As I stopped my car, I jumped at the sight of a mysterious figure standing in the middle of the road. The man was enormously tall and had the longest limbs I've ever seen. His arms were almost like tentacles, absent of any bones. He was wearing a black suit and a tie. As I looked up, I became horrified to learn that his face had no features, no nose, no mouth, no eyes, just a complete void. I couldn't put the car into drive, I was so shocked. Just at that moment, a voice entered my head of a man whispering. It told me to run my car into the man and kill him. It repeated the words, kill him, over and over. All the while, the man just ominously stood there, facing in my direction. All at once, I screamed and slammed my foot down on the gas. I ignored the call of the voice and sped off in the opposite direction, eventually making my way back into town. A week later, I opened the newspaper to learn that a car had veered off the road near where the incident had happened. The passenger of the car died on impact. I'm convinced that the tall man had accomplished his goal and convinced the driver to go off the side of the road and wind up with a fate that could have happened to me.
Fucked.
Creepy. As fuck.
Does it claim to be real? A real event? This is not a story on Reddit that somebody just made up.
Oh, allegedly, it is a real story.
Okay.
Like I don't.
As far as we know, it's a real story. Not
shit on Reddit could be real too. Allegedly,
absolutely. I'm not saying that everything on Reddit is made up, but
it's on the internet, so you have to take it with a grain of salt.
With Slenderman stories, there's a lot of people just writing scary Slenderman stories.
It's fan fiction at this point, you know what I mean? It's people writing Slenderman stories that then get posted on the internet or in these forums, or then like posted on the internet and then somebody takes it out of context and posts it in a forum sort of thing. So then that's like kind of how the Slenderman spread and became what it is today. And fucking movies about the motherfucker because some dude entered a Photoshop contest and put some text in there that freaked the people out, and then again the photos getting used out of context and posted places, just adding to that. Again, just kind of makes me want to talk about tulpas. I'm going to talk about tulpas before I do the next story. So a tulpa is the manifestation of a thought form, I suppose.
Yeah, I've got an entity created in the mind.
Okay. Is just created by thinking about it. You just focus on it a bunch and treat it like it's real and like it's a person, and then it's just there.
Would you like me to read how to create a tulpa according to tulpa.info?
Oh, yes, I would.
All right. So, this is a quote straight from tulpa.info. It's got all you need to know about tulpas, how to create them.
I mean, it's tulpa.info. This is the unquestionable. This is the leader.
In tulpa
the leading leader in the tulpa industry.
Okay. So to create a tulpa, you simply have to think about and spend time with a sentient being, a tulpa that is living or being created in your mind or brain. Spending time with your tulpa is often called tulpa forcing or tulpa forming, but it isn't forcing something onto your tulpa. It's called forcing because you often work on your tulpa's form, personality, etc. During this time and on your tulpa's form, personality, etc. during this time, and can spend it in any way you like. Sitting down or laying down and focusing on your tulpa as the main focus of your attention is referred to as active forcing or just forcing, while focusing on your tulpa while doing another task is often referred to as passive forcing.
Passive forcing sounds like an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
But you're not like forcing. You know,
forcing is just like
meaning.
It's more of like an intention of like I'm focusing on this. Yeah. I'm forcing myself to focus on this.
I'm doing dishes, but I'm thinking about my imaginary friend Paul.
Okay.
He's got brown hair and he likes
and big tits.
Spaghetti. Paul. Hi, I'm Paul. Damn it, Jacob.
So there's some suggestions that a tulpa could be created in like the way that if enough people are focusing on a single entity, if you will, instead of an individual thinking about something. So that's kind of the idea behind Slenderman. I keep emphasizing Slenderman really weird.
Slenderman.
The Slenderman. So the Photoshop context took place. Then the photo was shared across the internet in various forums. Without the context, the photo being manipulated, and people just became aware of the Slender Man, thus creating it. So it's kind of like almost some time travel shit in the way that it didn't exist. It couldn't exist until it existed, but then it existed.
Yeah. It's a lot of people are putting their energy into
thinking
about it. And then there's there's people that believe in it, which is like
every time I don't want to go too far into tulpas. Every time I look into it, I'm like, I want to try this and just see what it's about, but there's a part of me that's like how you develop mental illness, right? Even though I know that that's not how that shit works, but I feel like I'm just gonna make myself go
crazy.
Insane.
You're gonna become
it's the same reason I don't just like do psychedelics. I'm just like I'm afraid I'm gonna lose it if I do.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. You're playing tricks with your mind, man. You're almost like you're putting a lot of energy into something that doesn't exist in hopes that it does exist. I would like to think that I could create a tulpa, but instead of it being an entity, it's the Force from Star Wars. Is that how, like people that do like mind tricks, you can lift shit with their mind? What's that called? What is it?
Telekinesis?
Telekinesis, yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Is that what that is? Is that right?
I am convinced that's how you...
Is telekinesis how you do that, or is that like reading people's minds?
Telekinesis. I think telekinesis is how you move things. When you do psychic shit.
Influence a physical system without physical interaction.
Telekinesis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Telepathy is reading someone's mind. Yeah. We're good.
But so like, if I spend enough of my mental energy focusing on moving your glass, at some point in time I could do it. Like, think monks. Monks supposedly did a lot of crazy shit. Like, apparently there's like a monk that like solidified. I don't know if like, I think he like was covered in concrete and like just meditated there and like stayed alive. Like, they fast a lot and just like They just use their brain
I
to
don't,
an extent that nobody does.
I don't believe if I sat here for my entire life staring at that glass, just thinking fall, 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 using all of my energy trying to make that glass fall, it would fall.
I don't think it's like repeating. Like I don't think it's like a repeating word.
Well, I understand, but like I'm just saying, like I don't think that I could. I don't know what the fuck I believe most of the time because every 2 seconds I'm questioning everything. But I don't think that I could just
make your dog stop barking with your mind.
No, I'm trying to knock the cup over.
So
it is some no. It's weird though, like because if I like focus for like I can feel. Sometimes I feel like I can do like a wave of like energy with my mind. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. It's
Psybeam.
Nothing happens.
Jacob, use Psybeam.
Lear. Its defense has been weakened.
I don't know. Okay, I will say this: the mind is extremely powerful. And it's very unknown what the mind can do.
Yes. I will give you that.
Man, it just blows me away. Like, positive thinking can make you think more positively. Like, just forcing yourself to think positively instead of thinking negatively can change
your outlook on like in the future. Then you will just think more positively because in the past you looked at things more positively.
Yeah, you
just have a more positive association with those things, so that way in the future, you're just
like I hate my job all of the time, but I just like try to force myself to not think about the negatives and
listen to Counting Cryptids. Hey,
that's what you should do. We'll positive think for you from right here in the basement through your earbuds. Does the Slender Man have ears?
It has no features.
Okay. Does it have hair? No. Yeah.
That would be a feature.
Sometimes he wears a hat.
Ooh, I did see that.
We didn't say that earlier. I believe you have one more story for us, Jacob.
I do have one more story. Are we ready for this? Are we done on Tulpas?
I think we're done on
There's
Tulpas.
some weird stuff where there was like I want to say it was like maybe 2009. There was like a forum where they decided to start testing it. And
there's some Tulpa forums I run across that are
it was
weird.
Like they're like, cool, so we're gonna manifest My Little Ponies, and I was like, this is where I am not really reading this anymore because this becomes like a weird thing. But yeah. Okay, so this other story that I have, I found on darknessprevails.org.
Okay, is Darkness Prevails a band?
I believe it's a podcast. It might also
Possibly.
be a band.
It's a thing.
This was written by a George on March 13th, March 31st of 2017. Quote, the story you're about to read is 100% true.
So this is pre-Slender Man? Because 2009 is when...
I said 2017.
Oh, I heard 7. Apologies.
March 31st, 2017. Quote, this story you are about to read is 100% true, but you are about to hear it. But I am reading, and it says read. I was in the 5th grade when this happened, and I lived near a ravine in Indiana. Now, a little info about me. I'm 6 years old now, and I'm the only boy in my family. I'm the middle kid, my older sister is 17, and my younger sister is 11. Anyways, I remember this like it was yesterday. I was in my ravine with my BB gun. The gun I had was a Red Ryder BB gun. If you've ever seen A Christmas Story, then you know what I'm talking about. Don't worry, I was responsible. Anyways, I was walking through my ravine.
This is where the story gets irresponsible.
And then I saw something, and what I saw made me freeze. It was a face. It was a little taller than me. It did not say it was a face. It was a little taller than me, and it was just standing there. It was wearing a dark suit and had no face. Its skin was milk white. I loaded my BB gun and took aim. I squeezed the trigger, and I missed it. I freaking missed. By then, my heart was practically pounding, and I had goosebumps. I ran as fast as I could, and I put my BB gun in my garage, and I just ran inside. That was the first time I thought I was a dead man. I didn't sleep for 2 hours that night. The scariest thing is that he never came after me. I never saw the Slender Man after that. Maybe he got bored of me. I don't know. I hope to God that even if I see him again, I'll be able to get away.
I didn't sleep for 2 hours.
That one was a little bit weird. I'm always a little bit hesitant when people are like, yeah, I was really scared and I like couldn't move. So then I loaded my BB gun and I like took a minute to like make sure that I was really aiming at him, and I pulled the trigger and I missed. Can you believe that, man? I missed. I was a little bit skeptical of those ones. But it
little
was
background about me.
Interesting.
I'm a really good shot. I never
Now
miss.
A little info about me. I'm 15 years old now. You can't have that many. And what does it matter about the age of your sisters?
Yeah,
and that you're the middle child.
Adding some unrelated.
You're talking a lot about the ravine. I thought that there would be more about it.
Yeah. I could have written that story better.
I would have condensed it to about like a paragraph.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, this happened a few years ago. I was walking in this ravine by my house in Indiana.
My Red Ryder BB gun.
I had a BB gun with me because I was a child.
I was shooting stuff.
I had a BB gun with me, and I saw a dude in a suit. I shot at him and missed and ran back to my house. And I was so scared that I had time to put my BB gun away in the garage so my mom wouldn't yell at me. And then I went back in the house, and then for 2 whole hours I stayed up being afraid.
Then I fell asleep because I had school.
I'm just saying.
I would have included the Christmas story bit in there, just knowing myself.
I understand wanting to spice up a story a little bit and write a little bit. You got to be a better writer than that.
Like, he's 15 years old, Jacob.
So?
Cut him some slack.
Nah, dude.
You're right. I probably wrote better at 15 than I do now.
What I'm going to say is that if I am going, there's no point in me lying to you and being like, oh yeah, you did a really good job, buddy, because you're not going to fucking get anything from it.
He's also never going to hear this podcast. And he shouldn't, because he's 15 years old.
Maybe he's really into Slender Man. Also, it said he was 15, so I feel like he's like a 45-year-old just making shit up. Whatever.
Wow.
The internet is riddled with Slender Man stories. I should probably say this without ice in my mouth.
Reddit,
The internet is riddled. The internet is riddled with Slender Man stories.
Reddit, no sleep. Subreddit, no sleep. And then there's a Slenderman subreddit. I'm sure there's others.
There's tons of creepy ass fucking stories that honestly, the nursery rhyme at the beginning gave me goosebumps more than anything else that I did. Yeah, like the beginning is the creepiest fucking thing about it. Like,
I started doing research last night, and it was dark. I mean, I had the light on. Like, it wasn't like I was home alone or anything, but I was a little creeped out. Like, this, it just has something that makes it creepy.
What bothers me is that it creeps me out even though I know the origin of it, and I know the origin is fake as fuck in a field that I am in.
Yeah. Jacob could have created this.
I don't think I'm smart enough to do that. Like, the way that one is done where it's so blurry in the back.
Is Victor Serge Slender Man? Can I get a height on this guy? 8'7", maybe? Very thin. Faceless, possibly?
Does he or does he not have tentacles?
Could have just been carrying an octopus backpack.
What was going into this, what was your knowledge of Slender Man?
I had a decent amount of knowledge about Slender Man.
More so on this one than any of the other ones, really, that we've talked about, probably?
I vaguely knew about the girls stabbing their friend.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously didn't know as much detail as I did looking into it.
Yeah.
I had to really condense down that story for everyone. Otherwise, it would be a podcast about those girls easily. And I'm sure there are plenty of them out there. I knew that Slender Man was created by, I don't know if I knew Victor Serge, but the name was out there. I knew of Victor Serge. You knew
that it was created on an internet forum. That was a contest for them to,
it was photoshopped
you knew,
to begin with.
Yes.
I knew the name Victor Serge in relation to it, but I looking into it, like, I solidified that. Like, I had heard it, but I wasn't familiar with it per se.
Okay.
As far as the Slender Sickness, I didn't know anything about that. I knew obviously he was faceless, tall.
The general appearance of Slender Man.
Like, if I saw a picture of Slender Man,
you'd be like, "Oh, that's Slender Man." I guess we didn't talk about the video game or the movie really hardly at all.
Yeah, the
but
movie
that's
got bad
fine.
reviews as far as I know. So
I think the original game was like creepy as fuck, as I recall. I don't remember the name of it.
I don't remember either. I saw it as well. We're all researching.
You just like kind of walk around, and it gets like
Jump scary.
he's just like behind you, like you just like run away, and then you turn around, and he's just like there randomly. I think just like the closer, I think eventually he'll like get to you, then you lose, and you have to like find stuff, and there's like creepy messages everywhere, and like
Sounds
notes
like a
with
really
creepy writing on it.
crappy,
Honestly, I think you
phone
just
game.
like, I think the only thing like item you have in your inventory is a flashlight, and I think your battery life is limited. Like it's, if I remember correctly.
Okay. So if this was a VR game, which it possibly
fuck
could be,
all of that.
it would be horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody make a VR
Anybody,
game. With
anybody a
Slenderman.
developer out there?
Got a multi-million-dollar idea right
Yeah, I
here
doubt that,
in
but
our
okay.
back pocket. But yeah, what about you?
I think I was about the
Similar?
same. I don't think I knew Serge. I don't think I would have known that name. But like, I mean, I've listened to like a number of podcasts about
Right.
it, and I believe TCG did a podcast about Slenderman a while back, and I've heard a number of Slenderman podcasts. I think that was probably most of it. I mean, 2009? I feel like I probably would have like known about it in high school a little bit, but it wasn't like the kind of thing that I ever would have like put any stock in or have known enough about it. And when that murder was 2012, I remember hearing about that. Like, well, I guess they didn't kill her. There wasn't a murder. The stabbing was in
attempted murder.
2012. I remember hearing about that, and I was like, what the fuck?
That's fucked up. Some crazy ass.
Yeah,
kids.
but again, like I was I don't know, I was kind of being reckless back then. It was weird. Like, I didn't really give a single fuck until like a couple of years ago. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I want to learn everything. You know what I
Same,
mean? It was
absolutely.
just fucking weird. Like overnight, all of a sudden, I was just like really interested in things.
all throughout school, didn't give a single.
Well, I think
fuck.
a large part
Didn't
of
wanna
that
be
is
there.
like the stuff that they are teaching you is stupid, and you don't care about it, and they're teaching you in a way that's stupid and you can't associate with.
I agree with teaching in a way that is stupid. Some things I've gone back and like, I wish I would have learned more about this in school.
Very
historic
few things.
events mostly, but science.
But it's hard to see
interesting.
the benefit of like knowing those things in high school.
100%.
Hindsight makes a little bit more sense, but like when you're in high school, you're like, what the fuck does any of this have to
Yeah.
do with me now?
Honestly,
Like, I don't care about what. Yeah.
if they stuck to math, writing skills, like how to. There's definitely a different way they need to go about the education system.
We're not going to sit here and
We
talk
are not
about
gonna
the
get
problem,
it-
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
cryptid that is the education system of the United States of America, because Jesus fucking Christ, that is a mess.
They're just training you to become, the 9-to-5 worker, so that they can produce more and.
Or
Yeah.
just trying to feed you to
You're probably
a machine, whether it be like
Mhm.
cool, like you're going to work for the rest of your life, or you're going to be feeding the prison industrial complex, or you know what I mean. It's
setting you up for
this is
Not
rapidly turning into a conspiracy podcast. Let's turn this around.
Easily could have been.
So I guess we're done on Slender Man at this point. Are you done on your notes?
I don't have anything else.
Okay, so where do you stand? What do you think about the Slender Man? Tulpa, or some sort of spirit that then is just kind of like co-opted to be the Slender Man?
I think it's just a scary story. Something that gets in people's heads, causes them to do things that they wouldn't normally do, or
Is it
maybe that they were
a-
predisposed to doing, like they had
Hold
bad
up.
children, this was their excuse to act irrationally. They get swept up in this Slender Man hype.
Well, I mean, yeah. I don't really want to get into like a mental illness discussion right now either, so
And like I said, there's some background to these girls that would definitely push towards that.
well, and so I talked also. I didn't really talk about it, but I had mentioned that physical manifestation of depression for that Walking Sam individual. So it's
Native American spirit guy.
it's that sort of sounds like a tulpa to me.
Sorry.
Just in the way that it's like, I feel like depression is the sort of thing that's just like a constant like feeling, or maybe it manifests as a voice in some people, or just, you know what I mean, like this thing that's always there. So to me, that would take a lot of your
Almost trying to rationalize
energy.
your depression and creating this.
Well,
this
yeah, that's
figure.
the thing. So if you have this like always telling you you're worthless or whatever it is that's always doing that, you know what I mean? And then it can, if you're focusing on it so much, can it create this? If you've given it a form somehow, you know what I mean? Like it's this black mass that has these tentacles or whatever it is. Can that then manifest in your mind? And if you are creating your own reality,
yeah, I've definitely been in a place where like, not to the extent where I'm putting a figure to something, but I've been to a spot where like there's something working against me. I could see where it could go that far. If you're just really depressed, you're really stressed out, even it might just be like your stress levels are maxed. Also, if you're young, which a lot of these cases are young children, you don't know how to interpret the world in your mind.
So I talked about all those attempted suicides before. I forgot to mention that I believe it was every single one of them. I may be mistaken. But the ages were 12 to 24 on almost all of them, if not actually all of them. So that's these young people.
And that's you going through puberty and changes. Your mind's changing. Your body's changing.
Everything is also like that point where it's just like it means so much to you. If it's like this is whatever, if it's a relationship thing that you're all bumming out about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the first person you've ever been with, and it's the love of your life, sort of thing. You know what I mean? When you're fucking 14 years old or whatever the deal
hit you
is,
harder than when
you fucking after
them.
they break you down a little bit and make you fucking numb. Then you're used to it and you deal with the shit as it comes. Like that's being a person. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like fucking life wears you down. What's fucking left is what's fucking left, man. Like just fucking keep on keeping on, bro.
Cryptids. And you just get out all of your, deepest emotions on the internet for everyone to hear. Welcome to Counting Cryptids. No, but
you can just slowly listen to us lose our sanity over the course of 3 years.
Wow. Okay. But yeah, I am not convinced it's a physical entity or even a spiritual entity. There's not.
We didn't do a ton of talking about like the Native American stuff, and that's
If you're familiar with Native American stories, the Wendigo, this could be part of that mythos.
It's hard to, again, we're not really looking too much into that because I don't want to be like, how do you feel about this? Is this real? And then be like, well, actually, now you're being offensive towards somebody's belief sort of thing. So I'm trying to like not.
I already do that anyway. So.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to be moderately sensitive in that fashion, even though we're talking about people trying to kill themselves. I guess last week we talked about shadow people, and so then this week we did Slender Man. So who do you think would win in an altercation between the two?
Slender Man could be the man with the hat or whatever. The Hat Man.
The Hat Man.
Could be the same being. Similar stalking styles, if you will. They're
not dissimilar, definitely.
Slender Man doesn't really physically attack anybody. Like, he kills people, allegedly.
He has people try to kill people on his behalf.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing too, is it's like, what if it's the kind of
games?
thing that's like somebody goes and does something and then it's like that's the Slender Man told them to do it, but they never like owned up to the Slender Man telling them to do it. They're just like, yep, I killed him.
Yeah, that was me.
You can't use that out of context. That's not me admitting to anything.
Putting a lot of red flags up for the, intelligence.
Yeah, right?
agencies.
Like, that's the one thing. It's like, now I have said that, and that's going to be on the internet. Maybe should remove that one. Either way.
If they wanted to find it, they already have listened to it.
Oh, 100%.
Slender Man versus shadow people, though. I'm going to go Slender Man. He seems a bit more menacing. The shadow people seem a little bit more passive.
There seems like there's some power involved in Slender Man that's like, I don't know if he just like there's some sort of like, well, if he's not always, the Slender Sickness, you know what I mean? Is that like, is he like radioactive? Is there something like radiating off of him that's making you sick, or is that just like him focusing on you?
It's almost like that
he has
feeling
infected
of
you.
staring.
So I think the Slender Sickness is more just like when you're being stalked by the Slender Man, you are sick. Like that's how you know, is like you have the Slender Sickness, and then you start to see him around, or you see him, then you have that start to happen, and then you just like continuously see him. So I think I would say like there's more of a, and like the we didn't want to sort of, you know what I mean, but his outstretched arms and what that thing, you know what I mean. There's some sort of like power and like almost like a mind control thing.
Yeah, because there's like a comfortability.
That it's just like I didn't want to do it, but like I couldn't not.
Yeah,
which is creepy as fuck.
You have no control over what you're doing, essentially.
Yeah, I also would go Slender Man.
Yeah. To me, it's.
I don't know how he would attack a shadow, but I guess his tentacles are fourth dimensional. Maybe, I don't know.
He's got shadow tentacles.
They're a shape that I can't conceive of. Okay, cool. I would also go Slender Man on that.
Yeah, Slender Man.
We will be posting polls on social media asking the very same question.
Yeah.
If you think the Slender Man or Shadow People would win if they fought somehow. Don't know how that would work, but that's fine. We're ignoring that part of it and just like, hey, what if? So go to social media, twitter.com/countcryptid, facebook.com/counting cryptids. Also, there's an Instagram page now, Connor. What's that?
Instagram at Counting Cryptids.
At Counting Cryptids. Cool.
I want to say I did post last week's polls, or last episode's polls on Instagram on the story.
Okay.
I'm very new to Instagram and posting things on stories, especially polls. I had to ask for some help. Thank you, everyone that helped me post those polls. That being said, I'm going to post them, but I'm not going to add them to the results because I think they're only up for 24 hours. I think
that's how Instagram stories
sucks.
Work. It's like Snapchat.
And I also don't get results from, it doesn't give me results at the end of said poll.
Oh, okay.
So unless like you're the last person to vote, which how are you supposed to fucking know? You'd have to screenshot it.
Yeah,
okay.
It's Instagram polls aren't a thing, but you can go follow us on Instagram and see what Connor posts.
Yeah, you can vote and see how you stack up against other people that have voted.
I said that
whatever,
really fast.
fine.
That was impressive.
Do it, but we're gonna keep to the main two. Instagram or
so
Facebook
go to social media and
Twitter.
vote is basically what all of that was.
Do it.
So we asked the same thing last episode of Shadow People and the Mothman. No, and the Van Meter Visitor.
Yes, we
Shadow
did.
People and the Van Meter Visitor. Which, if you haven't listened to those episodes, if you're like, what the fuck is a Van Meter Visitor? Go check it out. We have some pictures on the Instagram from the Van Meter Visitor Festival that Connor and I went to.
Yes.
We had just mentioned that Instagram. I'm kind of doing this thing in between like I'm on NPR. Welcome to National Public Radio.
Stall.
I'm your host, Jacob Stallington. Today we're here stalling on behalf of Connor, who is looking for the poll results from last week's polls. These polls are brought to you by Nesquik. Is that still a thing? Probably can't use that name in fake advertisement. How about terry cloths? Yeah, just a towel in general. Cool. This episode is brought to you by a towel.
You know, like the one you found in your drawer that's all ratty and you sometimes use it to clean dishes and you wonder, should I be using this to clean dishes? Brought to you by those towels.
Thanks. I didn't know where I was going with that. Okay, so
You're
over
welcome.
on Twitter, we were 33% Van Meter Visitor, 67% Shadow People.
That would make sense because I'm looking at that poll right now.
Fantastic. Okay. And now, if we go over to Facebook, I believe it is a similar situation. 64% Van Meter Visitor, 36% Shadow People. I was incorrect, sir.
Look at Jacob with those results.
But, so, damn it. This is really close. Okay, I'm going to have to do some math real quick here.
While Jacob's doing math, thank you for voting. Again, if you didn't listen 1 minute ago, those polls will be up on social media after every episode. I try to post them on Friday after the release on Thursday. They'll be up for at least a week on Twitter. We're going to be up forever on Facebook. So if you're listening to this in the far future, go back to the Facebook page, facebook.com, Counting Cryptids, and vote for your person there, and your cryptid for that week. You might have to do some scrolling, but there's also this thing called Search. You might be able to find it there. I'm trying to stall some more. I'm running out of things to say.
All right, so I have the results, Connor.
The final results.
Are you ready for this?
I'm almost not ready for this.
So, the winner of this week's poll results by one vote.
One vote?
It came down to one vote.
This has been the closest one.
I thought it was going to be a tie. I had to do the math, like I was adding fractions of numbers together to get this. By one vote, Shadow People win.
Is that what we voted for? I think that's what we voted for.
I think we did.
I think what our reasoning was
on
that
Facebook, was it? I think somebody commented on Facebook. I feel like it was Lucas. Somebody commented on the episode and said the Van Meter Visitor because of the light.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually. He's got a good point there. Van Meter Visitor used light horn. It's super effective. Lucas Threffel.
Excellent.
Yeah. That's a good point, Lucas. That is not something we had considered. Lights making shadows not appear. Or, yeah. But to me, a shadow person will appear regardless, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's more than just a shadow, Lucas. I have to disagree with you.
I don't know.
On that.
I honestly, like, I still think it's a good thought, and I like it. Like, it's
100%. And who knows what the actual powers of said light on the top of his head is.
That's true. Or if the shadows, I mean, let's think about it. That dude, his mom came and turned the light on, and then the shadow disappeared. If it shines its light on it and the shadow disappears, can the shadow affect you?
Yeah,
Therefore, could the shadow ever affect the Van Meter Visitor if it has a light?
No, but I think you just have to avoid the Van Meter Visitor for eternity, and the Van Meter Visitor would die, I think is what our reasoning
that was the same. Okay, wait.
Just by hiding.
Okay. Either
Shadow
way,
People
very
win
close.
by one
I
vote.
thought it was going to be a tie. Very, very close. Got to give it up to Shadow People.
Thanks
So
for
now
voting.
we have to go on to these reviews because we have so many reviews that have happened since the last episode. I don't know. We've hit some cool numbers on some things that have been really impressive and exciting for us. So thank you, everybody, for checking out the episodes. And
Yeah, I've been posting about those on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I've been, keeping you up to date on how excited we have been for what's been happening since the last episode.
yeah, it's really cool. Really cool stuff.
So thank you for everybody. While I'm on Facebook here, we've got James Beardson from the UK
Yes.
recommending the podcast. I mean, I think that's 5 stars review. I don't know, he's putting it up just in a weird way. But he says, awesome podcast. The guys are really entertaining. Can't wait to listen to more from you.
Thank you. I'm glad you
Thanks,
think
Beard.
that we are entertaining.
I clicked on his profile real quickly earlier, and he has a huge beard, and it's awesome.
And his name's Beardley?
Beardson.
Beardson. Shit, not Beardley. Beardley. Beardson? That's sick, though.
Yep. Thank
If
you.
my name was Beardson, I would also
Fucking-
have a huge beard. I have some sort of beard. I have a resemblance of a beard.
I mean, you have much more of a resemblance of a beard. You can call
I got
yours
a neck beard as fuck right now,
You
bro.
can call yours a beard. Mine is like,
But I
2
don't
o'clock
feel comfortable
shadow.
calling it a beard because it's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like a full like fucking beard.
Jacob is 100% a beard. Thinks positively about your beard.
I'm gonna create a tulpa of my beard.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, we got some.
Where the fuck do we start on these reviews? Even is that
We've-
Foxalope?
Yeah.
My phone died, so I can't. It's on these. Okay.
Yeah. We read Blossom Branches last week.
Yes.
Last
So
episode. And so we've got, look, it's a review, a 5-star review from Foxalope. I did some investigating. I figured out who it was.
Oh, did you?
Brandy.
Oh, you were right.
I was right.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, Brandy.
What did the review say?
She says, listen, it's great.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
I love it.
This is,
I love
literally couldn't get
What
more
more
to the
can
point.
you? What more can you say?
She said it was a result of me yelling at her because her 5-star review alone wasn't enough. She had to add the review.
Oh, because you called everybody turds for doing a review,
I may have
but not
been very aggressive at the beginning of the last podcast on people reviewing, but it seemed to have worked.
Apparently, that's
Go
all you
out
needed
there
to do.
And you vote, and you
Call them turds again, Connor. That's what the people want to hear.
You need to review the podcast immediately.
All right, so the next one.
You got that one?
Tapped House TV.
Freya.
Oh, Freya 0615.
Yes.
Fun romp through the woods. Fun romp through the world of cryptids. 5 stars. Stay to play the drinking game. I hope you don't have to work tomorrow. And then there's like a little devil emoji. I don't know the name of emojis, so I'm gonna have to apologize. But
devil. I don't know.
Yeah.
What? How was your experience with drinking after last podcast?
And then going to work.
Yeah, it
was Monday. Hey, I'm fine. I don't get hangovers or anything.
That's good.
I stay very, very hydrated in my life, like on a regular basis. And if I'm drinking, like I stay on that shit too, and like just drink a big glass of water or two before you go to bed, and just like I don't know. I gotta get up early and stuff. Plus, I like medicate heavily, so that helps. Like,
good. Okay. How to find a cure for hangover with Jacob from Counting Cryptids.
Cue reggae music.
I was gonna say because I got high, but
some Afro Man.
Yeah,
Is that who that is?
Yep, 100%. Are we?
So I think you're at Tapped House now.
Yeah, we got the slow burn from Tapped House review.
I was a little bit confused when I started reading this. I was like, it sounds like he's not happy about what we're doing, but he gave us 5 stars.
Yeah.
Either way,
we appreciate the 5 stars. The review is
I
hilarious.
love this one. This one is really, really good.
Okay, so he wrote, definitely expect this show to be slow burning us. It sounds like just 2 friends reading Wikipedia. But after like 100 episodes, we're going to find out they have uncovered a mystery and we'll follow them on a quest where they eventually discover Bigfoot. I hope to play an extra in the serialized episode where they visit Washington on the quest for Sasquatch.
So I love this. You figured us out. We are just 2 friends reading Wikipedia.
100%.
If we do somehow, after 100 episodes, go to Washington and discover Bigfoot, or wherever we discover Bigfoot, like, that would be rad. I'm into it. And if I have any say in the casting of the serialized episode of when we do this, you will 100%.
It says Tapped House TV right in his name. He's got to have some experience behind the camera or in front of the camera.
I will pull some strings for you.
We are in control of all the strings on this future quest to find Sasquatch.
All right, so we have another one from
Booger TDB. This has to be what it is.
Okay, we're going with that. If you're not listening to this, just leave. I found these legends about 2 or 3 months ago, and I'm so glad I did. It's just 2 dudes talking about cryptids, trailing off on some random tangents. It's loads of fun and can get creepy sometimes. See the Dogman episode. I listen while I'm at work and at home. I can't get enough of it. Thank you for the wonderful review.
Appreciate that.
It's also super interesting. I like to know what people like are doing when they listen to the podcast. Like, I primarily listen to podcasts at work, and that's like pretty much it. Like, outside of work, because I'm doing stuff a lot of time when I'm not at work. So like I have music in or headphones. Like I'm constantly consuming media while I'm at work. So that's my big podcast time. So if anybody else wants to like let us know what you do when you listen to the podcast,
and if I haven't tracked you down after, like, some of these people, I've talked to Booger TDB on Instagram. I've talked to Tap House, commented when I posted his review.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So Freya, I'm not sure who you are. Hit us up. Let us know who you are so we can thoroughly thank you for reviewing and listening to the podcast. If not, if you don't want to, you want to stay a little bit more anonymous, that's perfectly fucking fine.
That is your prerogative.
We appreciate the fuck out of you. Thank you for listening, and thank you so much.
Turns out it's your mother.
Wow.
No, but really, thank you. Thanks, Carol.
I think you just say there's a lot of cussing and
you could swear like half the amount you did, and it would still be too much swearing.
That's a direct quote from my mother.
Hi, Mom.
I think that's it for reviews. Hopefully there will be some more to share in the next episode because I look forward to seeing those reviews. And Jacob texted me that there's reviews.
Couldn't believe how fast all of those came in. Like I just like kind of pulled it up one day. I was like, oh, there's one here.
Oh, and there's
then
another one today.
Yeah, again, just rapid fire just kept coming in. It was unbelievable. So
it was awesome. God, yeah, this is
thanks
definitely
again,
a good
everyone. Really all the good feels.
The download numbers were great too.
Holy shit.
So people are listening, which is surprising.
There's
as everyone has said in their
the
reviews
Facebook group and everything too.
Yeah. We're like over 300 Twitter followers.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly on Twitter and sometimes on Instagram, I'm not sure if
a lot
there's
of bot accounts and
exactly, just people
and
trying to promote their own shit.
Yeah.
If you're a real listener on Twitter or
but
Instagram
like some of that could
Facebook,
be like the people who run that, like that's just the Twitter account that they are associated with.
Right.
They don't have a personal one, but maybe they're just like, oh yeah, I'll go follow these guys or whatever. I don't know the case. I think a lot of it is like bots and just like following stuff and like looking cryptids and just trying to get their own name out there. But
if you listen, just hit us up. Like, just comment on something. Just let us know you're out there. We want to talk to you.
Interact with us.
Exactly.
Be a part of the community, guys.
A community, the Counting Cryptids community.
So for everybody who's not drinking,
we're all friends.
We're taking a social.
Raise your glass.
If you're too young to know what that means, you're too young to drink.
Raise your Capri Suns. Thanks for listening to our poor execution of a month of creepy episodes. We hope you enjoyed it and have a spooktacular Halloween. Thanks for checking out this week's episode.
If you want to get your 2 cents in, answer this week's polls on social media.
You can find us on Twitter at Count Cryptid or Counting Cryptids on Facebook.
If you have any questions, concerns, suggestions, or you just want to chat, you can email us at countingcryptids@hotmail.com.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and tell your friends.
He's been Connor.
He's been Jacob.
And we'll see you in a couple of weeks for another fascinating installment of Counting Cryptids.